Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone is doing well this evening, and we are going to talk about this economic endgame that is coming, an economic D-Day that has been announced. And I don't know if it's ESP or what it is, but I was saying we needed to focus on Besant. Days ago, I played a longer version of his thoughts on the economy, and he is now the point man for this stage of actual warfare that we're in. And the media is not going to report on it. Of course, we know that. And anything that they can throw a wet blanket on it to make the Trump administration look bad. We understand all that. So, but anyway. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of other stuff that's going on. And all the nations have been warned. Worldwide, you better choose wisely. So what do? I play videos while people come in and settle in, get themselves a nice cup of coffee, a cold brew-ha, or an adult beverage of your choice. And then what will we do, folks? Ha-ha! We'll be like butter and get on a roll.
Corralled into this box where we either have to hate Vladimir Putin and believe everything evil that's said about him and love Ukraine, and there's no in between. Or you go with the Democrat narrative on everything under the sun.
The most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today, white supremacy.
And I want to understand white rage.
Possibly imagine before you even get to Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, and all of their children who earn millions from Ukrainian gas companies. These days, it's hard to believe anything because they've lied about COVID. Impeachment trial, and there's so much more going on in Ukraine that nobody is talking about.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
My job as a journalist is to try to understand what is the truth here. I don't like being lied to, and we're being lied to on an epic scale. When we're told your only choice is you have to be 100% with Zelensky. Slava Ukraina. The puppet who you can find on the internet in black stilettos and leather pants. Zelensky was selected, like so many of our leaders. And honestly, with big tech and with election fraud these days, we don't know how many leaders all around the world have been selected for us and weren't actually voted.
Back better.
Build back better.
If Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win.
We are fighting the same battles all over the world. To pretend that this war is about Russia and Ukraine is a barefaced lie. Putin has been warning for 15 years that he is not going to stand by while the globalists take over the world, build bioweapons facilities and whatever else they're doing in Ukraine. Ukraine has been a center of money laundering for many of the leaders through Ukraine, and we say nothing about it. Does nobody question these things? We have an idiot like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman.
Mr. Vindman. Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Do you always insist on civilians calling you by your rank?
And sits there as a lieutenant colonel. He didn't even make colonel. And he's telling the President of the United States what his policy should be. You have a traitor in the form of Maria Yovanovitch, who was Obama's ambassador, who's telling Ukrainian government officials, don't listen to the will of the American people.
In his July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president badmouthed Yovanovitch, calling her bad news.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
And then she's given a cushy job for life at Georgetown University, and we're told that the President of the United States cannot say to his foreign counterparts that we want you to look into something.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So much hypocrisy and dishonesty here, and Ukraine is at the center of it all.
Storm's on.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy.
allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me tonight. I do appreciate it very much. Trump was putting up. He didn't put a whole lot up, but he put up some bangers, especially about Canada, and we're going to talk about that. And he's putting up reminders, that there's other things going on in the world besides Iran and Canada. So we'll get into that. Let me see who's come to visit me tonight. I used white letters again. What's the matter with me? My brain. But anyway, Sissy's here. Todd's here. Nice to see you. Canis Cleanup. Max here. Wayne's here. Give me a thumbs up. All right. MS Motorsports. Max said he already gave me a thumbs up. Ha ha ha. Miss Mendersu's here. Brett's here. Nice to see you, Cole. All right, we know who's coming next. Darla's here. Let's see, Rain's here. Let's see. Kim's here. Nice to see you. So, I know I keep saying it, but things are coming together. Interesting things coming out of you, Crizzle. Roland, nice to see you, buddy. And there's going to be a meeting about possible cessation of hostilities. I don't know. We're going to talk about that. But things might get hotter there before they cool off. So anyway, Flannel Cheese is here. Nice to see you. Are we anywhere near the precipice? That's what I keep in the back of my mind. Where is the precipice for some of these lunatics? Marla, nice to see you. Ha ha. All right, haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? Loves Two Gardens here. Ha ha. All right. People use different channel names and they say, "Oh, this is my regular channel name," and I go, "I can't remember." Hi, Randy. Nice to see you, Pappy Two Bears. All right. I try. Don't get me wrong. I try. So anyway, economic Armageddon. Maybe that's a little too strong to put out there, but the Rial has collapsed. Of course, it was a couple of days ago that it fell below, $2 million? $2 million reals for $1. But they put a report up on Fox News about it. So we'll talk about that. Why have I got a picture of Zohran Mamdani? A video of Zohran? I don't remember that. I guess I'll play it when I get to it. But anyway, we still have the media, the nasty, malicious media throwing a wet blanket on everything they can think of when Trump comes up with something, and ignoring dynamics, ignoring victories, ignoring upcoming events like Like Trump posted multiple pictures of him and Kim Jong-un. And don't forget, folks, Kim Jong-un, North Korea has been participating in the war in Ukraine by sending troops and lobbing ballistic missiles. When have you heard? Here's another picture Trump put up. Today, just reminders. In the game, there's other countries in the world that we have to get along with and keep an eye on. So here you have pictures of them walking together in a garden. So how many times has he posted these? But is the media keeping the American people up with the schedule? So the meeting with Xi Jinping, the upcoming meeting with Kim Jong-un, Trump has scheduled a visit to his golf course in Scotland. Let's see, I think September 11th, 12th, and 13th. I'm not sure about those dates. I don't know how that plays in with when Xi Jinping is coming up. But, you know, Trump is going on with being the president, okay? Having things like these mini summits, whatever you want to call it, having the Grand Prix race, going to his golf club in Scotland, living life, okay, and running the country and dealing with problems, not focusing or obsessing on one thing. And, you know, I guess we all need to take a page out of that book. But it's also letting, like Canada, know. All right, we dealt with you. We put what we had out there for you. You didn't take it. So I'm going golfing, or I'm going to meet with somebody else. You know, we got other things to do besides you. So, you know, that's the way you have to put it out there. And Trump was posting stuff like this. The media will never report. Years. Well, the Post reported it, but you didn't see it on CNN. You won't see it on CNN. You won't see it on MS Now or any of those other creeps. But hey, the Washington Post is under the gun. We know that. Trump is pressuring Bezos to get rid of the anti-American crowd that's been dominating that paper for half a century. So anyway, Scott Bessent made a little mention about Canada, and he talked about a number of things. Let me put up the one where he talks about Canada. And, you know, isn't it funny? It's like 3 or 4 days ago, I played a kind of a long clip with Scott Bessent, and I said he was going to be the man to watch. Okay? Now here he's talking about Carney. Carney's rise to power, an anti-American platform, saved him from losing by 20 points or so. But anyway, come smell the coffee, or, you know, we're just going to go on with what we're going to do. And I'll play it later on. Bessent is saying any country dealing with Iran is going to find themselves with problems, okay? You want to deal with our enemies, okay, and still get the benefit of claiming you're our friends? Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
Want Canada to become a state. He did say that they're getting all the benefits of being a state without being one.
I think he would like Canada to come to the table and negotiate in good faith. They were offered quite a good rejected. Unfortunately, Prime Minister Carney rose to power on an anti-American, anti-Trump platform. I believe he was more than 20 points behind, and you know, he seems to have gone back to his old playbook. And I think one has to ask oneself, is he trying to benefit himself, the Liberal Party or the Canadian people, because they were offered a very good job. So, yep, you.
Yeah, they were offered a good deal, and they need to come back to the table. Here's something else I found interesting. Trump posted this. I showed this same post from Dan Scavino 3 days ago. What reposted it today? Exclusive cabinet officials commend work of Presidential Personnel Office under Dan Scavino. And they're commending the work of candidates for political appointments. And he also has them fired, too. He also has them fired, not just hired. So I'm just wondering how that plays in with Pulte, okay? Him going through and firing a bunch of people. And so anyway, I found it interesting the post Trump reposted that today. So anyway, I don't know what kind of signals we get out of some of these things. What some of it may just be to keep everybody from dwelling on certain things and moving forward. Endgame begins. Bessent promises economic pressure on Iran. I didn't have time to get a clearer shot of this post of his. But anyway, here we go. President Trump has dismantled Iran's military capabilities, destroyed nearly 100% of its military. We are now entering the end game. At dawn begins an economic D-Day, the single greatest financial offensive ever marshaled against an adversary. The Islamic Republic has subsisted by dressing extortion as security guarantees. It has drawn strength from a calculus that regards Iranian retaliation as certain and American enforcement as negotiable. Under President Trump, that era is over, and those who fear the danger of defying Tehran ought not to discount the cost of testing Washington. The president has created the conditions to leverage every agency, every authority, and action many assumed we would never summon. Our objective is to sever every economic lifeline that sustains the tyrannical regime until Tehran stands alone. Go back and look on my thumbnails. How many months ago did I say pariah? Use the word pariah, and that's what we're going to make him. He's the term outcast. That's fine with me. But they are being isolated. So, hi, Sparky. How you doing? Nice to see you. I'll scan chats real quick, see if anybody missed. So anyway, and of course, these so-called officials, who they really speaking for, who's got the real power. This is, I don't know, he's the parliament. He's the head of parliament or a member of parliament. Galabaf mocks Trump's MAGA with a Make America Hungry Again. And the reason I got the screenshot is I'm curious. Some of this stuff they put out, who's making these charts? But if I were to go into Blue Sky and go into Occupy Democrats or Malicious Trash Network and look at their postings, you think I'd find the identical one right here? Are they playing footsies with our adversaries? Supplying them with talking points, graphics, so-called memes? Where did they get this? Where did they get this put up? Where did Galibaf get get this, make America hungry again. It can't cover up defeats with false claims. What do you think the chances are this exact same post would be on? Am I being too harsh? Would be on an Occupy Democrat site or Midas Trash Network site. And what's the ramifications of that? Speaking of Midas Trash, I thought today was a big day with Scott Bessent coming out saying what he's saying. And also something Donald Trump came out and said. I'm going to show you in a minute. What are they still harping on? This was today. Turns out bringing Melania and Natalie to the same event wasn't a good idea. Melania lost it. This is worse than the Inquirer. This is worse than the Inquirer. We're coming to an epic point in this confrontation, okay, between radical Islam and, I'll say, the American way since the 1970s. And what's this picture supposed to represent? I mean, Melania's got her hands on her knees looking over. You know, she probably got up to look down the aisle, the lane. But they're intimating she got mad, stormed off because they're still trying to drum up some drama over an aide that thinks Trump's super duper. It's every little thing they can think of, and it's getting sickening. I guess they've been blocking some of the people who have been saying, putting up, well, I've been watching you all for a long time, but you're all getting a little sickening. Remember when I was showing you all stuff from that? Maybe that's cropping up some more. But anyway, let me put up this post by Trump. Before we get into Bessent, I am so happy to hear this. And, you know, I can't complain. Ideally, I would like to hear something a little tougher about past actions, okay? But what he's saying right now hadn't been said and has needed to be said for a long time. Let me know if you agree.
Every public school in America is now on notice that if they tell a child that they're trapped in the wrong body, they are committing child abuse. And as we remove the far-left extremism from the classroom, we're taking historic action to ensure that every child in America has access to a first-class education. The United States spends more money on education than any other country in the world by double, and our results should be better than they are. I would look at lists where we're rated out of the 40 top nations, we're rated number 38.
Yeah, that's important. But what he said at the beginning, is very important.
Every public school in America is now on notice that if they tell a child that they're trapped in the wrong body, they are committing child abuse.
How long has that been said on this broadcast? Psychological abuse of children. They prey upon children, okay? They destroy lives. So, you buffering, Roland? How's everybody else doing? Kim's here. Let's see. All my lurkers, you know. Hi, Robin. Nice to see you. So, anyway, anybody else buffering? Or is it just, Sissy said 5 by 5. Might be where you're at, Roland. Everybody's got 5x5s. So, anyway. Man, I got some clips I'm looking at. I'm like, what the heck was that? But anyway, I'll play them and see what the hell they are. But anyway, Iran is, I got another long clip from Spencer Pratt. I'm going to play it. Something's going to happen with that. But anyway, so here on Ruski News, I got saying what they're talking about here in this clip. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent declines to say if Chinese banks would face sanctions over Iran ties, saying no one is above the reach of U.S. sanctions. Bloomberg reports. Bessent warned that the U.S. will penalize countries that refuse to cut economic ties with Iran. Well, that sounds to me, see how they report this? He declined to say if Chinese banks would face sanctions. No one is above, that sounds to me like he said, yeah. I mean, is that a translation issue or are they just screwing around with facts? You got Bibi Netanyahu. He came out. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Iran tried to assassinate one of his sons. He said that during a phone interview with Channel 14. Well, the Sun put this out. Bibi, you're not alone, okay? Breaking, Iran threatens Barron Trump in sick video and puts a $10 million bounty on his head. You know, I tell you what, Barron can't buy a break. He's trying to stay out of limelight. He's trying to behave himself. I know Andrew Tate wormed his way in on a video call a couple of years ago. But, and I think he's paying a price for that. Trying to drag Barron into it. Boy, I tell you what, you got Melania's claws out over that, Andrew. And, it might be one of the reasons why your rear end is sitting in a jail cell right now. You don't mess with the baby boy. But anyway, let's see. Here's Scott Bessent. Let's play some of his clips. I got 2 clips here. Like I said, he's the man to watch. And daggone if it ain't true. Here we go.
The United States has begun Operation and I'm against the Republic of Iran and its enablers. In the Second World War, marked the historic beginning of a campaign by our allies to target and drive the enemy from its position, including those in third countries. Today, in that same spirit, we are launching an economic onslaught against Iran's financial connections around the globe. Our objective is to sever every economic lifeline that sustains this tyrannical regime until Tehran stands alone. Iran's fanatics devote themselves to America and seek nuclear weapons to do just that. They have murdered and maimed more of our citizens and service members than any other terrorist regime on earth. And they have been at war against America, their neighbors in the Gulf, and much of the world for 47 years. President Trump has taken action that his predecessors have long deferred.
That is, predecessors have long deferred. Not anymore. Not anymore. And we haven't forgotten one instance of mayhem that you all have caused, murder and mayhem. So anyway, gloves are off, okay? Here we go again. Let's see. Let's see. I cut my mic off here. What is this topic?
For decades, this regime has drawn strength from a calculus that regards Iranian retaliation as certain and American enforcement as negotiable. Under President Trump, that era is over. To the ordinary soldiers supporting this regime, as more and more of your paychecks stop or are supposedly just delayed, ask whether your commanders are leading your country to triumph or to ruin. And recall that the Berlin Wall fell when ordinary soldiers decided not to shoot at their own people. And to those who enable Tehran, do not discount the cost of testing Washington's resolve. No nation should expect to enjoy the rewards of our system while helping those who seek to destroy it.
Yeah, they're not. You don't ask for helping Iran. That's the new deal. You know, you're either for us or you're against us. And I'll show you something that got posted on Russian media, but it's also going around everywhere else. Who is this guy? A former economic advisor. Let me find it. Put out a smarmy little. Here he is, Peter Schiff. Do you all know who Peter Schiff is? Supposedly a former economic advisor or a prominent economic egghead of some sort. 103,000 views. Wet blanket. Trump's unprecedented economic sanctions on Iran not only won't work, but they'll backfire. Other nations will violate the restrictions and Trump won't be able to follow through with his retaliatory sanctions. Plus, the dollar will weaken and food and energy prices will rise. Well, thanks a lot, Peter Schiff. Maybe what we should do is just let him go ahead and have a nuke. Oh, by the way, there's a talk going around that they may have. They call it the secret nuke. Okay? So, okay, Peter. You got a better idea than what Trump's doing? I mean, now's the time in the hour. I don't know who this jerk is, but I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind. Because it's easy to remember because of Adam, right? So I don't know how much influence this person has or what the hell business he has even putting anything up about the situation. But anyway. I don't know why I've got this. Yeah, party pooper. Party pooper, wet blanket. Cole said much better 5x5. Greg's here. Nice to see you, Greg. Robert's here. Whoa. And I give a shout out to my lurkers. You know, I haven't gave a shout out to Mike and Bev in a while. Got to give them a shout out. And who else lurks? Well, not really lurk. If you're watching on the big screen, you can't really participate in the chats. From what I heard, I do not know. But anyway, so, I'm trying to think who. I'll just say lurkers in general. But anyway, here is a odd. Speaking of you, Crystal. I don't know why they picked this picture. Look, who's this? Who is this? What is it with some of these Europeans? They look so daggone creepy. They look like to eat. But anyway, let me show you who he is. Strikes against wild berries are the only way to force Russia to sit down at the negotiating table. Finnish President Stubb. Remember how when I was showing those wild berry strikes, have you heard anybody else talking about them? Have you heard any other, I'll call myself a broadcaster, they call themselves creators or whatever, video people, have you heard anybody else telling you all about the repeated strikes on wild berry plants? Well, he's making fun of it, and that's the way I take it. And about 5 hours later, let me find what popped up. Where'd it go? Finnish President Stubb. I don't remember him. Well, he's over in Ukraine right now. I might not upload the picture. I'll get it. But anyway, just remember that here he is. See? He's all buddy-buddy with Zelensky. Hugs. Air raid sirens in Kiev on Monday forced President Vladimir Zelensky's Finland President Alexander Stubb and European Council President Antonio Costa to take shelter, Ulay reports. So that might have been a response to the wiseacre statement about the wild berries being bombed. I don't know. I'm sure it didn't go over too well, put it that way. The United States is preparing to revoke up to 200,000 visas for business and tourism, which would be the largest visa revocation in history, according to officials. That's from the Associated Press. How long do you think before a federal judge tries to step in? An area where they know they have no authority, which will take months and months and months to overturn. Iranian authorities. Oh, I didn't know they had time to explore for natural gas, but according to Iranian authorities, they report a huge natural gas deposit worth up to $165 billion has been discovered in Iran. Well, I'd be working on that instead of nukes. Life would be a lot better. Zelensky presented a new peace plan, developed jointly with representative of Trump and European officials, The Times is reporting. The plan envisions a ceasefire, the withdrawal of Russian and Ukrainian troops from the front line, and the creation of a buffer zone. According to the publication, the details of the plan may be discussed Tuesday, tomorrow, by Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov and a representative of the Vatican. Well, I read a report, I didn't get to put it up, day before yesterday, that the Russians said, we're going to do any peace deal by realities on the ground when the buffer zone was posited to them. And they said, we're going to go with what's on the ground. And we don't want any exotic plans. We're just going to go with life the way it is. In other words, I think they're saying, you all want to back up and take the territory you're sitting on right now, making a buffer zone, fine. But we're not backing up. I can't remember the exact wording, but that's kind of what I got out of it. But it's a start, right? spoke by phone with Pakistan's army chief Azim Munir last week, sources confirmed. This is in relation to the peace talks that today. IRB reported Munir met Iran's top negotiator in Tehran on Monday, highlighting Islamabad's potential mediation role. Trump posted that Iran is completely collapsing, but discussed Iran with Munir and asked Pakistan to help restart talks, per reports. Well, I don't know about that. I think he's going to put the screws on them till the pips squeak. I'm going to go ahead and show some of Trump's posts. The radical left Democrats are going crazy with fake polls. They're putting them out at levels never seen before. They're called demoralization operations. Now, that's a military term, folks. And I keep bringing that up on the economic part, about Soros crashing the stock market, about what Besant's doing, about what Trump's describing, and tying it into illegal psychological warfare campaigns, okay? Because we're at war. And when it all shakes out, okay, a lot of this stuff is going to be prosecuted under the laws of war. That's why I keep bringing it up. And I point out when there's military terminology being used. These fake polls are part of an illegal psychological warfare campaign. That's my words. Now, as Trump said, they're called demoralization operations. What's the most valuable thing you have in an army? Morale. Where they try to demoralize Republicans so that they don't go out and vote. But the actual polls are tremendous. And the spirit of our country has never been higher. We're winning against everyone, including Iran, whose country is an economic and military death spiral. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Canada has been ripping off the United States of America for years. Their ridiculously high tariffs on our farmers and farm products has made life impossible for these great American patriots and has long created a $60 billion deficit. Not anymore. On January 1st, 2027, tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts, and steel will be increased to 50%. Build in the U.S. and there are zero tariffs. Canada will be treated like a state no longer on trade and in other ways. Also, they are among the worst nations in the world to deal with. They feel entitled, and yet we don't need Canada, they need us. They do 95% of their business with the U.S., with us, the exact opposite. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So Carney is catching some backlash. The Telegraph put out some pretty interesting stuff. I don't know if somebody had to talk to him or what. Why Canada will suffer from Carney trying to out-tough Trump. Well, this is a Telegraph. I call them teletrash. Here they're putting up something for once that's not demeaning to Trump. The Canadian Prime Minister has walked away from trade negotiations with the Trump administration and is bracing for a trade war that could decimate businesses and cost tens of thousands of jobs. A good deal became a deal we would not accept, he said at the weekend. Well, he's getting a lot of heat at home, back home. And like I said, Telegraph surprised me. They had another article, another posting they put up that was kind of surprising. Somebody might have had a talk with him. I don't know. Oh, things are heating up. This is from Ruski News. Vladimir Putin has signed a decree according to which authorities will be able to introduce temporary administration at facilities where owners fail to take necessary security measures. Translated, Ukraine bombed some oil facilities and other sites. And what he's saying is he's just going to have military take over the facilities, take over the operations, maybe even the company. So you better step it up with security. Critical facilities include, but are not limited to, enterprises in the fuel and energy sector, industrial enterprises, and facilities related to municipal services, transportation, and logistics infrastructure. So they're asleep at the switch, and they better wake up. You know, they have Bernie Sanders. A lot of these people that are in charge of these businesses have got plenty of money, and they can get security down there with the training to help intercept some of these drone issues, because you don't know where they're going to strike at. A representative of the Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs also stated, the visit of the Pakistani army commander to Tehran today is taking place within the framework of the good relations between Iran and Pakistan. Remember, Pakistan's a nuclear power, okay? But, you know, they got a little black mark on their record, right? Osama bin Laden hiding there for years, okay? And Trump knows where the chips are and who owes what. But anyway, Pakistan has been working for several months to help de-escalate tensions in the regions. Oh, and as far as their nuclear weapons concerned, it's a threat to plenty of people. But to the U.S., you're talking a rickety old 1980s, 70s, 80s technology that wouldn't even get across their own border if Trump had a notion that they were going to use it against us. So no, Pakistan is not any kind of threat to us, but they owe us, okay? So anyway, Pakistan has been working for several months to help de-escalate tensions in the region. It is expected that the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Oman will visit tomorrow. Okay, so that's going to be tomorrow. Oman. Oman is where Trump said he bombed the SH and that's it out of them, if they kept mouthing off about cutting a deal with Iran. So anyway, during the visit, it is... anyway, I won't say it. During the visit, it is planned to discuss bilateral relations and issues related to ensuring the security of the Strait of Hormuz with shipping routes within it. Yeah, well, don't try nothing. AFP reports Iran's economy minister, Ali Madad, whatever, says the U.S. will face another defeat, claiming Tehran has a 2-year plan to counter new U.S. sanctions. He told IRIB that the U.S. has failed every time to break Iran's resolve. He said the government has long prepared for Washington's latest measures. Yeah. Okay, we'll see about that. Here is where Fox News is discussing the collapse of the Rial. And the oil is flowing, as we heard in last night's broadcast. And Venezuela is pumping out more oil than it ever has. We got alternate sources, and it's all being utilized.
Over the last 2 weeks, the United States is overseeing vessels out of the Persian Gulf through a safer southern passage. The passage does allow for millions of barrels of crude oil to be exported each day. Still, the Iranians remain defiant.
The fact that the United States has once again moved from military threats, saying that it will strike and so on, to reviving its old plans shows that they are truly desperate and have no solution when it comes to the great Iranian nation. Therefore, they keep bringing their old plans back onto the scene.
The U.S. naval blockade also remains in place as CENTCOM says 70 commercial vessels have been redirected since the blockade was reimposed. In terms of U.S. military movement, the USS Abraham Lincoln is headed home after being deployed for 274 days. This aircraft carrier made its last port call in December, breaking a Navy record. The vessel is being replaced by the Japan-based USS George Washington. On Friday, President Trump doubled down on his position that the Strait of Hormuz is now U.S. territory.
They'll never have a nuclear weapon. They want to make a deal so badly. We don't even know if we want, because I view the Strait of Hormuz as an American territory right now. It's an American territory.
The question remains, will this economic pressure lead to a new deal or a return to combat? Guys?
So, Trey, if we're going to put these sanctions on, presumably they're going to be on other countries that deal with Iran.
Yeah, you better believe there will. Time for everybody to show their cards. Who you with? Us or them? And we'll be finding out. So, let me see. Oh, here's another report. Reward up to $10 million for information on IRGC key leaders. New. The U.S. Department of State has issued a reward up to 10 leaders. It is strange that Majid Kamedi, it was also mentioned. I'll check that picture in a minute. While it has been confirmed he was assassinated in an Israeli airstrike on April 6th. Let's see, Majid Kamedi. Kadimi. It's too small for me to read up. Where is he at? No. I don't see, maybe it's too blurry for me to read. I don't see any Majid Kamedi on there. Yeah, you got it. Just as he was also mentioned. I don't know. Maybe he got away. I don't know. So anyway, I want to see what I got this video for. Oh. Green Banana Jr. He got that joke off. Somebody is suing. Let's see. Is this it? A coalition of immigrant-run grocery stores has filed a lawsuit against socialist New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani over his plans to open five city-owned grocery stores that will cost at least $70 million and will likely put the surrounding bodegas out of business due to their taxpayer-subsidized prices. So, good. But you know what? It's like Thomas Sowell said, these bureaucrats never suffer any personal consequences themselves. It's no skin off Zoran Mamdani's nose. They just print more money, spend more money. They don't give a damn.
New this morning, a coalition representing immigrant-owned grocers has filed a lawsuit against New York City over Mayor Zoran Mamdani's plan to open 5 city-owned grocery stores. Fox Business' own Madison Allworth is standing by in East Harlem with the details. Hey, Madison.
Hey, good morning, Brian. That's right. The Multicultural Business Coalition exclusively telling Fox Business that lawsuit is drafted up. It will be filed by 9 a.m. this morning. Their argument is that the city is taking taxpayer dollars, so the same business owners are putting money into these government-run stores that won't have to pay taxes and then will unfairly compete against these small, family-owned, minority-owned grocers and markets, potentially putting them out of business. We spoke to one of those such owners, the manager here, Elvis Aria. His family has owned this market for 25 years here in Harlem. He's part of the lawsuit, and the reason being, as we spin around this empty lot over here, that is going to be the location of the city-run grocery store, La Marqueta, that's expected to open in 2029, just across the street from his market. They'll pay zero in taxes. He says that will make it impossible for him to compete, and he's worried that will mean he will have to close his doors.
I can't compete because he get better price than me. So I sell something maybe in $3. He got it $150, $125 over there because it's free.
Now, we've reached out to the city for comment regarding this lawsuit and have yet to hear back, but they have recently walked back comments regarding these government-run stores. The lead official for NYC Grocers told New York One that they were exploring grants for local businesses to help them compete with government-run stores. So taxpayer dollars going both to the city-run stores and to the stores that already exist. But the mayor's office has since walked that back, telling Fox Digital they are not considering grant programs for existing grocers. Now, this location here in Harlem is expected to cost the city, us, $30 million. Keep in mind, they're expecting 5 stores, and they've set aside $70 million total. This one location, $30 million. The plan to be open by 2029, but now stores like the one behind me are pushing back against the city. Brian?
You know, one thing they didn't zero in on, won't open until 2029. Why? Why is that, folks? I'll tell you why. And I guarantee it's not put in their rosy price calculations either. They got to rehab that whole damn building. And I'll bet you dollars to donuts that they'll use money out of a general fund or some kind of maintenance fund that won't be calculated into their socialist experiment, but the taxpayer is going to pay to turn that building into a grocery store. It's going to be done through government contracts, grift, fraud, no concept of time. And I bet you they spend 10 times more than Donald Trump spent on the reflecting pool, which is 2 or 3 times, would be 2 or 3 times taller than the Empire State Building and stood it up on the end of it. I guarantee you that will be a hog trough of fraud. Just rehabbing that grocery store. Nobody's bringing that up. They're giving their proposals, so not proposals, their dictates. They're showing these things like, here's a grocery store, and this is what it costs to run it, and this is how much everybody say. Oh, what about how many hundreds of millions of dollars to redo that building? I guarantee it's not in there. Not in their equation. You know, private businesses, it's tenant build-outs. They do it themselves or negotiate it to where the landlord does it, but they pay back the improvements in lease payments. No, here it's all taxpayer money. Donald Trump posted this. It says, he just posted without a comment. First plane lands at newly named President Donald J. Trump International Airport. This is a quick clip. I'll play it in a second. He also posted this. Look what I just passed by. Donald Trump. Belvedere Road. President Donald J. Trump International Airport. You know the liberals are going nuts every time they drive underneath it. Man, I bet you aspirin sales are through the roof. People need an aspirin. But anyway, I found this interesting because it says first plane. It doesn't say Air Force One. because it's Donald Trump Jr.'s was on this plane. This is Trump Force One, right, folks? Not Air Force One. Yeah, there's Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. and Sissy. So yeah, it wouldn't. I wonder if Trump. I don't think that runway is big enough to handle. Well, I guess it could handle Air Force One. He posted another picture or video. Here we go. What is this one? Now this is the Qatari plane, isn't it? This is Air Force One, the new one, right? I don't know why Trump posted this, but I'll go ahead and play it.
I'm honored to be the first sitting president to visit one of the most storied places in the history of American automaking, and that's the world-famous General Motors Proving Ground. Thank you to the auto workers, the technicians, the mechanics, the welders, the engineers of General Motors. Today, I'm proud to say that the auto industry is back and America is back, and it's pulling Detroit and Michigan along with it.
You saved our domestic auto industry. Thank you.
With your help and patriots all across this magnificent land, we will make America powerful again. We will make America strong again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Michigan. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he posted that today. Carney better think about it. What did Trump say was going to happen January 1st? We got industry flying into our country. And we don't need to be screwing around with Canada's games. Trump posted this clip here. I haven't listened to it yet. Part of his speech he wants us to hear. Hold on, my screen went a little kooky on me. There we go.
We're here today to celebrate the historic progress our administration is making together with law enforcement partners nationwide to restore law and order in America. And we're especially grateful to be joined by the incredible men and women of Nassau County Police. Nassau County has been rated the #1 safest county in the United States of America. Today I'm thrilled to announce that the FBI has just released a new uniform crime report showing that in 2025, we achieved the single largest reduction in violent crime in American history. Together we're showing what is possible when you finally have a president in the White House who supports our police, who lets you do your jobs, and who always backs the blue. We back the blue.
Yeah, it's the safest county in the United States. That's the other thing that Trump was posting, that the media doesn't report. The wet blanket media, the party poopers. Violent crime keeps falling in biggest U.S. cities. It's a shame that the office of the presidency has to be the one to try to communicate with the people instead of the flipping news. Here's another clip Donald Trump posted. I'll play it. America mining American jobs. Right. Okay, this is a message to everybody, not just Canada, but we're going to be like we were before World War I, before the 16th Amendment, where we ended up, in the long run, subsidizing the whole world by taxing individual people instead of running the country off of tariffs like McKinley did And that's what Trump is trying to tell a lot of our imbecilic friends, that the average American did not have to worry everything to some egghead bureaucrat, judgmental bureaucrats of everything they made. They didn't have their wealth stolen from them if they were giving personal service, okay, because we ran off of tariffs. And that is just Europe coming into our country and feasting off of our market wealth, getting shipped over there. And it's been going on for almost a century. So anyway, it's enough of that little rant. I'll play this. Oh, by the way, I put a link. I put a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the chats at the 102 mark somewhere. Kapow! 102 mark. Everybody who chipped in to Buy Me a Coffee, I appreciate it. I don't have any new ones to report from for yesterday's broadcast, but I do appreciate it. Let me see if I missed anybody coming in. Okay, I'll go ahead and play this clip. Hold on a second.
It's an honor, and I'm delighted to be here at the Department of State to announce some of the largest ever investments in American mining. Critical minerals are the raw materials of American strength that power everything from advanced weaponry to automobiles, and we want these essential products to be mined.
Our industrial strength, but also our national sovereignty, that we never depend on other countries for things we need to prosper and to defend ourselves as a people.
We're going to mine here, we're going to process here, we're going to refine here, we're going to manufacture here.
Mr. President, you have brought mining back to America, single-handedly, you and your administration, and we wanted to thank you for your enduring support.
You've proven that we can drill baby drill. This group is here to prove that we can mine baby mine, and we're going to put American mining back on the map.
Together we're reawakening the spirit of the gold rush, the prospectors and the great pioneers of this country, people who built the United States of America. And very simply, we're making mining great again, and the United States is doing better than it's ever done, maybe ever done.
Yeah, so he's putting out inspirational videos. And you know what? I see there in the chats, Cole is right. California is going to tell you what kind of tires you can have. You know, I had a post that made me think. I didn't get to put this up the other day. Here, it's got to do with tires, believe me. Marathon organizers admit unfortunate error after wrong stadium etched onto medals. In a week, up to 40,000 runners will take part in Sydney's marathon, but a mix-up means they will be handed medals decorated with a German stadium. A German stadium. My point is this, a bureaucracy, I said it years ago. How many of you grew up the wheel? Everything they touch, and nobody has any consequences for it. Like Zoran Mamdani is going to have a rehab building that no private entity could afford to have, and he's still going to fail. But he's going to do it with our money. These people, these organizers, the nonprofits and all this crap, it's all subsidized by the government. They're nothing but mini bureaucracies, and they would screw up the wheel. And that California is going to mandate tires that are stiffer for less road friction, instead of a softer tire that grabs the road. because that increases friction. They think they're going to save the planet. They're going to save the planet by making people ride around on dangerous damn tires. And that can't get the same traction. If they're harder, they're slicker. They'll slide on wet roads. Accidents will go up. And, oh, no, but I should, here. Why don't you worry about crap like this instead of trying to screw around with people's tires? Look at that. That's another wild berry plant. They got it. Okay, look at that. And you're going to save what? They'd screw up the wheel. I said it a long time ago. And now they are. They are actually screwing up the wheel. I never thought I'd see it. Man, we never thought we'd see a lot of stuff, did we, folks? This is for your meta page. How many of you all remember this? Exact same scenario. Different people, but the same vibe. Okay? Yeah, accidents when it rained, Todd. What are they sitting on, Todd? Do you know? The way it was. No internet, no cable TV. We hung out with our friends, went cruising around town, went to bonfires, listened to great music, and never realized how great it was until it was over. The last generation of free Americans until now, the golden age, will come back. At least it is my fervent hope. Anyway, here's Zelensky. What's his ugly face doing here? Oh, this is what I was talking about, the telegraph. Seems like they've changed course very suddenly. Zelensky is Ukraine's greatest leader, but is his time up? You couple that kind of reporting with Zelensky publicly coming out saying he's got a peace deal he wants to present, where they create a buffer zone and stop the fighting. Wasn't it just a week or 2 weeks ago? No, we will retake Donbass. We might march on Moscow. Now you have the news services writing a political pre-obituary. As the war drags on, Ukrainians face a growing dilemma: maintaining unity against Russia or demanding political change. And could that change lead to Zelensky losing his power grip? From the Telegraph. Who's this idiot here? Former advisor to Donald Trump. Why are you a former advisor, Keith Kellogg? Called on Ukraine to begin mobilizing women, citing the fact that his wife served in Grenada and his daughter served in Afghanistan. For context, Kellogg's wife served during the 2-day U.S. operation in Grenada as the head of personnel at the battalion headquarters, while his daughter in Afghanistan oversaw the loading of supplies on the aircraft before they were dropped at remote forward operating bases. I'm just curious. He's a former advisor, and he seems to be putting out a narrative that would discourage peace talks. Mobilize your women. Keep fighting. So that's making me say, well, I guess there's a reason you're the former advisor to Donald Trump, right? Here's Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin, former senator for West Virginia. Talk about AOC. It's your party, buddy.
So she was not happy that you didn't want to add 2 states and blow up the filibuster and sign off on trillions and trillions of dollars. And you two never made up. Could you back her for president?
Oh, no, absolutely not. But here, I mean, she has a place, I guess, within the constituency where she comes from in one little part of New York. If that's what they choose, then fine. I respect that. They can have what they want. I don't want her as a leader of our country at all. I think it would be devastating. And she knows that. We have differences of opinion. You can still be respectful to each other and just totally disagree. I disagree that there's some stability needs. We need energy. She wanted all green energy. Well, guess what? Tell me what 5 hours of the day you want your energy, and that's what you'll get if you want to go down her path. You have got to have energy that basically supports this great country, but also uses the greatest of technology to make sure that we're doing it in coexistence with our environment. We have a responsibility, and we can do that, Brian. These people are absolutely unbelievable in their wish list that makes no sense, and nobody can live their life that way. You better find a balance. Now, she was saying, yeah, I was resistant to a lot of the crazy stuff. I told them up front, don't give me the crazy. Don't give me advocates and zealots and everybody else that you want to confirm. I'm not going to do that. Don't be spending money without paying for the bill. And I've said this, $40 trillion of debt right now and no one speaking about it. You want to blame President Trump? Go right ahead. You want to blame President Biden? Go right ahead. It's everybody's fault. Someone better sit down and be serious about getting this debt under control. If not, you can forget about everything else because it'll all come crumbling down and you can't stop it.
Everybody's fault, Joe? I don't think so. Maybe talk to the Supreme Court about forcing Trump to refund all those tariffs. And how much would we have to this day if they hadn't done that? And how much would we have had in our pockets? This is a video that Citizen Free Press posted. It's a longer video. I haven't listened to it. But you know what? I want to. Why? Because Donald Trump had his eye on this race. Okay? And the Justice Department knows this guy got robbed. They stole the election. And anyway, so let's see if we hear any clues about what might be coming down the road.
The internet was a mistake. We have officially broken bad. Recently, a married mother of 3 young children was grappling with postpartum psychosis. Not just depression, but psychosis. She was committed to a psych ward for a brief stay, but she lied her way out of it and made her way back home. When her husband left the house to go get food, she took her 3 young babies into the basement, lined them up, and one by one, wrapped an exercise band around their neck and strangled them to death. Now, strangulation is very difficult, even with a toddler. It takes a lot of force and a lot of time. It's a very intimate way to kill somebody, which is probably why she turned the kids face down as she did it. She didn't have to watch the life drain out of their panicked eyes as she choked them out. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to choke a toddler to death, so the 3rd child had to stand there and watch their siblings die for about 10 minutes before it was their turn.
After Mama had finished killing...
Wow, I knew he was going to address this. I didn't know how much detail he was going to go into, folks. The preview I read about it said that he says that it happened way before TikTok. This kind of mental issues, okay? And I'll let it keep going. I don't know. Hopefully it won't violate anything. But he's exactly right about what's going on. We have a mass neurosis, mass psychosis going on in our country right now. It's undeniable.
All of her kids, she promptly went upstairs, slashed her own wrist, jumped out the 2nd floor window to off herself. Well, the snow outside cushioned her fall, the cold slowed her vitals, so she merely fractured her spine, paralyzing her, but she ultimately survived. When her husband came home with dinner, he called out for the kids and his wife. Nobody answered. He went upstairs thinking maybe she was bathing the kids. When he got to the bedroom, he saw blood splattered everywhere and the window wide open. To his horror, he saw his wife on the ground outside paralyzed. He asked where the kids were, and his heart sank when she murmured, "In the basement." He was on the phone with 911 when he discovered his dead babies. So there's a recording of his screams as he turned over his dead children, seeing their blue faces and their eyeballs nearly bursting from the sockets. The man naturally moved far away in a desperate attempt to reset his life somehow, and his wife is on trial for murder. And women on TikTok are supporting her. Go ahead, look around if you dare. You will see hundreds of psychotic women supporting Lindsay Clancy, blaming the husband.
All right, he did it. Patrick did it.
Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty.
He did it. He did it. Patrick's the one who did it. Not Lindsay. Patrick did it.
Lindsay Clancy's birth chart.
Just following all their birth charts and birthdays and zodiac signs.
I've already gone over the forensic astrology charts that show that the perpetrator is a male.
Women typically don't strangle.
I'm telling you all right now, when the South Node goes into Cancer,
he's a Gemini man.
They poison or drown them.
I can't wait for this man to be humbled and for karma to do its thing.
Donald Trump.
Because of course, in this dystopian social media real, bad things don't happen. Every real story is just fed slop. The real story is some convoluted, nefarious plot by the Jews.
What? That's so crazy.
Whatever the opposite of Occam's razor is, that's TikTok. We have lost our damn minds. I really think that COVID fried people's brains and that they've simply never recovered. We were gaslit to hell, of course. Dr. Tony Fauci, funded the development of the virus. He lied about the lab leak.
So it came from a wet market in the same place where there's this huge lab that does all the kind of development of exactly what this thing is. That's some coincidence.
They lied about the threat to kids. They locked everyone down.
I wear a mask to school. I wear a mask to school.
It was like some horrendous globalized Stanford prison experiment. Our institutions completely eviscerated their own reputation and dignity. Gavin Newsom locked us down and then had a fancy dinner with friends at the French Laundry. The science told us that if you went paddleboarding alone in the middle of the ocean, you needed to be arrested for killing grandma. But of course, if you riot with 500,000 people, that's totally fine.
Because viruses take a time out when it comes to social justice.
Illegal psychological warfare campaign. The origin aside, who paid to develop the virus aside, the way they handled it was purposely done to instill fear and terror in people, okay? The way they handled it and what they did to our society.
Our institutions so thoroughly destroyed any semblance of credibility that they ever had, and frankly, they don't deserve that trust anymore. But we've devolved into a buffoonish, low-trust society where now people see conspiracy and malice in literally every corner of human life. Nothing is real, but everything is real. But beyond that is something darker. It's not just that we've allowed ourselves to believe the craziest things. It's not that we've just jettisoned our critical thought. We've lost our humanity. Look at the animals who people are now celebrating openly. Luigi Mangione shot a healthcare CEO in the back and communists celebrated him. Women openly gushed over him and still do. Even as he's pled guilty, they still simp for him. Now I know women have always been crazy. All famous murderers get love letters in prison, so it's not exactly a new phenomenon. But we can have a discussion about daddy issues another time. That's not what this is. This is something more sinister. What explains the outpouring of love for the mom who strangled her kids? Why are people trying so hard to exonerate her? When some criminal migrant masturbates in front of children at a public beach, the dads rightfully beat the shit out of him. But a woman suffering with suicidal empathy intervenes to protect and comfort that child sex offender? When you see an invasion of Spain, you see a woke woman gleefully waving the invaders in. Is this what matriarchy looks like? Where this kind of suicidal empathy that exploits the noble virtue of unconditional maternal compassion and perverts it towards the criminal dregs of society? All because wokeness now supersedes all normal virtue? We've heard that expression, it's a face that only a mother can love. I know I always heard it. We all know that unconditional maternal love, that superpower that God imbued into our mothers to make sure they loved us, irrationally loved us, so they didn't toss us into the damn river as babies when we're crying all night long for months on end. Their maternal love must supersede all reason and normal emotion in order to make sure that they can even make it through. But now that irrational love isn't pointed at our own vulnerable children. It's been reallocated towards whatever group the algorithm has designated as the vulnerable class: criminal migrants, drug addicts. Planet get full feminine favor and protection as long as they're not the ultimate Satan, the white male. The hijacking of the maternal instinct didn't start with social media. It goes way back to 1995 when she watched Dead Man Walking as a teenager. When that film planted the seed that vile criminals deserve her heartfelt tears.
Don't execute this man. You can stop this from happening, sir.
Then Dexter injected it with steroids. This is the prolonged conditioning that accelerated with the ascendance of the Byronic hero. We got so cute with finding redeeming qualities in irredeemable villains. Gone are the days of the true bad guy. Now, the cinematic vanguard is in love with finding the humanity in the bad guy, telling the sympathetic origin story. Our parents had superheroes. We have anti-heroes.
You're goddamn right. I had somebody give me that movie as a present, Dead Man Walking. I never watched it. I never watched it because I knew what the theme was. I knew it was some bleeding heart BS. And yeah, he's right. That's one of the seminal movies that pushing people toward feeling sorry for sorry asses.
Breaking Bad was so brilliant, but it made us cheer on a narcissistic, murderous, criminal drug kingpin who destroyed his family over money. When Tim Burton did Batman, the Joker was a lunatic. But now the Joker gets his own movie where he's the hero, and the climax of the film is him murdering the orderlies at the asylum. The arts dog-walked us here over decades, with films and television that inverted the paradigm of normal virtue. Cops are the bad guys, manifesting in reality today. Scrolling through Mommy Sleuth TikTok is an exercise in pure insanity. Whatever this woke social media blob has done to the modern mind, it's gone far beyond internet sleuthing, and it's spawned an entire generation of hollow-out, depraved crazies. What about all the goblins celebrating the communists who shot Charlie Kirk? You have insane influencers making a fortune off shamelessly exploiting his death, tying themselves in knots with the most convoluted Rube Goldberg bullshit explanations to try and deny something we all saw in 4K and wish we didn't. It was an exploding mic.
He had a rigged microphone.
And they timed it precisely to the millisecond with the fake gunshot from the patsy.
The shaped charge was actually supposed to hit him in the chest.
There were Jews hiding under the grass. It was French special forces. Just the craziest, most unhinged shit imaginable. And people believe it. Anything but what actually happened. Anything but the most obvious, straightforward explanation. The woke communists you saw on camera who have prints on the rifle killed an anti-communist leader because communists are violent lunatics. That's it. We have a communist violence problem, but psychos on the internet have made an entire cottage industry around denying and exploiting it.
We're not morons.
But what's so much worse than these crazy conspiracies is how it drives people to abandon their basic human decency. It goes from just asking questions to demonizing a grieving widow, celebrating her husband's violent death. It's so much worse than just absolving the actual murderer and trying to sabotage the trial. These people have a bloodlust.
They say that Luigi Mangione, if his ploy works by pleading guilty to that, whatever that crime he pled guilty was, and he doesn't get prosecuted for the big M, murder, and then Durr, that he could get out when he's in his 40s. And who knows what they're going to do with Tyler Robinson. And Andrew Branca did a show today saying that this woman could walk free with an insanity defense. Let me tell you, these cases are big. Every bit as bigger than OJ, okay? That's when we saw the real crack in our justice system when he walked. So we're going to see a rash of more of these insane cases if these cases aren't handled swiftly and properly. Okay, all three of them. Luigi, the furry commie that shot Charlie and this woman that took away her own children. They got to be dealt with very harshly and very swiftly.
What have you become when you celebrate an assassination like this? I don't care what your politics are. This was a father, a loving husband. You know, I was in DC in an interagency meeting when that communist shot Charlie. I was there advocating for the Palisades, trying to get things done to help us rebuild when everyone's phones started buzzing. Now, I never knew Charlie, but some of the president's cabinet members were with us, agency heads, people who were friends with Charlie and had worked with him for years, and they were devastated. It was one of the most grotesque and shocking moments I've ever seen in American history, but the reactions that followed were far more grotesque and reveal a sad report on where we are as a country. Teachers mocking his death, drag queens putting on assassination fashion shows. Who are these demons? What have we allowed ourselves to become? We have been so thoroughly demoralized, I fear that we can't get any lower. These things have fried our brains. Politicians have become full-time influencers and utter clowns, gesture gooning instead of campaigning. We dress like slobs. We shrug away drug addicts defiling themselves on our streets. We celebrate murders and lawlessness with alacrity. We have no dignity anymore, and I don't know how we get it back.
Yeah. That's a heck of a way to end it. Two things our country is lacking: dignity and outrage. We should be outraged by the things that are going on. And the people that are out there in the streets standing for Luigi and Tyler Robinson, all of them, they should be rebuked very strongly. I tell you what, I wouldn't want anybody working for me or with me that was pro Luigi. I don't want to be friends with people like this or people that support people like this. Despots that want to take away our freedoms and our economic our way of life economically and take control over our lives. That's all communism is despotism. Progressive confronted by a major problem in Democrat civil war. Or moderate candidates. Well, they need to wake up that they're being replaced. They're being replaced. What's this one here? Of it in there. Lots of bluster from Doug Ford, who is the premier of the Canadian province of Ohio, but who is better known as the less charismatic, intelligent, and overall unimpressive brother of the late, great Rob Ford. America has been carrying Canada for decades, but no longer. The USA will always be bigger, richer, and stronger than Canada. Without the United States, Canada couldn't survive. It's where they got all their money. And because of their current bad leadership, primarily Governor Carney and his flunky Ford, they will not be allowed to keep taking advantage of the United States. They're key to survival. Remember, much of the electricity, oil, and gas that Canada gets is transported through the United States. Someone should get these clowns to fall in line, or the consequences for Canada would be far worse. Canada's unemployment rate is now at 10% and rapidly rising. Their businesses are fleeing for the United States, and it's all because of their failed policies and inept leadership. The days of ripping off our farmers and other businesses are over. Thank you for your attention this matter, President Donald J. Trump. We've been watching the systematic destruction of our economy, of our moral standing. Let me see. Donald Trump posted this. Unearthed DOJ emails expose turmoil over Biden-era memo urging crackdown on parents. Internal DOJ emails reveal officials allegedly called Garland's 2021 school board memo, quote, stupid, and warned it would look like an anti-MAGA task force. That's exactly what it was. A coordinated effort. The line couldn't be any brighter. Couldn't be any brighter between these degenerates that we're dealing with right now and MAGA. I've got a video here. Let me see. This is in California. Let me see. Is this the intro to it? No, I already played that. Do you know there was a big hailstorm in California? They called it a hailstorm from hell. Here's a short clip of it. Something biblical? I don't know. A lot of busted windshields, I bet you. A lot of busted windshields. That's right, Miss Spender Sue. They'll think they're leaving. Yeah, well, we got to do what we can. When the Lord comes in, what was that? What was I saying? In the end, everything will turn out all right. If it's not all right, it's not the end. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't want to bring you down, but I got a video of this guy saying what he thinks is going to happen with Gavin Newsom. Is he sitting with, what's his face? Oh, gosh, I have a picture of him in my mind. Anyway. I'm just looking through the chats real quick. I tell you, that was a powerful video, wasn't it? I don't know if I get in trouble, but if I come up missing, Mountain Man speaks all one word on Bumble. I don't know. I think everything he said was perfectly acceptable, but you know how it goes, right? The last thing they want to hear is effective messages. So anyway, I'm going to play this video. Scott Gallagher is his name. And before I do that, I put a last link in the chats for Buy Me a Coffee. And, I always thank Miss Bendersue for putting her Moabs in. And I hadn't seen him in a while, but Gary, kaboom! And Mike and Bev, who's been with the channel for a long time. But this week, I want to thank Roland and Wayne and Robin, kaboom, 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 for going by Buy Me a Coffee. And for new viewers, the link is in the chats if you want to stop by and take a look at Buy Me a Coffee and help support the channel. A totally viewer-supported channel. I'm not monetized on YouTube. So if you want to go by there and take a look at it, I appreciate it. But anyway, this guy thinks that Gavin Newsom, is that why Gavin Newsom was telling everybody to get a Trump account? He's going to act like middle of the road. I'm not like those commies. I'm a nice commie, a smart commie. Anyway, you can't be half pregnant and you can't be half commie. You're one or the other. But anyway, folks, anyway, like I said, thank you for spending your precious time with me. And if you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live, right? So why don't you go ahead and do that if you haven't done it? And I don't know, what do you think of this guy's prediction? But anyway, folks, I'll go ahead and play it. Enjoy the video, and I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
I think Gavin Newsom is going to be our president. I think we're a looksist, sexist, racist country. And I think tall, I think the only thing I'm fairly confident about is that the Democratic nominee will be a straight white man over 6 feet tall.
Do you think in general the country is racist and sexist in 2026?
Yeah.
That characterizes us in a general way?
Well, okay. I don't see any reason why Secretary Clinton lost to Donald Trump other than sexism.